What's up, guys? Oldhead Mike here. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Here to do a review for the new Midnight album, Monsters. I'm a little late, came out a couple weeks ago, but, you know, finally got some time to do some notes, and so let's get into it. Please give me a like and subscribe before we start. It really helps me out a ton. So let's get into it. So yeah, I know this is a little different from my normal stuff. You know, I usually do metalcore, I do horror movie reviews, on VHS. Synthwave is kind of horror adjacent, you know, but, so it's just something I like, so I'm gonna talk about it. So this album is a lot different, than their normal stuff. So don't go into it thinking, if you haven't listened to it yet, don't go into it thinking, you know, oh yeah, it's just going to be the Midnight. They do so many different things here. They blend a bunch of different genres. It's synthwave at its core still, but, and it's still the Midnight, but, you get so much more. It's very experimental. If experimental synthwave is a thing. So they take the 80s synthwave, retrowave, and then they move it. This album has a lot of 90s influence, okay? Starting with the beginning track is 1991. There's Fire in the Sky, which is the name of a 19 I don't know the year exactly, but it's a 1990s alien movie. It's one of my favorites, actually. Very disturbing if you're into aliens at all. Search for Echo, which is you know, the dolphin game from I think it was Sega Genesis. Yeah, there's a lot of 90s influence here. A lot of house and trance. Just like not a lot, but there's like little specks of it here and there, enough to like really flourish. But yeah, like I said, it's still synthwave at its core. So I wrote some notes here. So you get the first track, 1991, which is it's just a instrumental. It's kind of just like an intro track, and along with Helvetica and City Dreams, those are interludes. They use these cool sound effects that make it sound like you're listening to a tape, like a tape cassette. Even in like, I think it's Helvetica, it uses some like weird tracking, like it makes it sound like the tracking is a little warped, and it's really trippy. It's kind of cool. You get the title track, Monsters, featuring Jupiter Winter and 17. Both of these tracks have some like lo-fi hip-hop beats mixed into the synthwave. So it's very, like I said, this is an experimental album. Fire in the Sky has some 90s dance elements. Dream Away has a little bit of house, just a little bit of house, you know. Deep Blue is my favorite track on the album. It's mostly standard synthwave, retrowave, but there's like a few sections that are very close to like trance, like 90s trance, which I love 90s trance. So it's really cool to hear, like there's just like a little build up. It's really nice. And then it circles back around at the end with the ending track, Last Train, which is pretty much, you know, standard the Midnight sound. So it like circles back around, ties it in a nice little bow, nice little the Midnight bow for you. Yeah, it's so it, like I said, it starts as synthwave, but it grows and flourishes into so much more, and they just showcase a lot of different types of genres, just like it's like kind of like sprinkled over. It's not, you know, it's still the Midnight, but it's just, it's really cool. The only downsides, I'd say they played down the sax a little bit in here. I missed it, just because I really love the sax. It's so different. There's only, you know, a few retrowave bands that use it. So I would have liked to hear it more, but that's just personal preference, you know. The other downside is not for me, but I can see other people disliking this album or just not getting it. You know, if you come into this thinking, oh, it's just another synthwave album, you're just gonna, you know, what is this, you know? It's different, it's like, it's experimental. So go into it with an open mind, and I think you'll love it. They showcase what their true talents are, how much more they can really do. But it's like a new blend of the formula, you know. It's Synthwave is so hard to stray, you know. The Synthwave is a pretty static formula, you know, so it's hard to really deviate from that. But the Midnight really does it very tastefully, very well. So yeah, go into it with an open mind, and I think you'll really love it. I loved it. 9 out of 10. Definitely check it out. Great stuff by the Midnight. Thank you for putting this out. Great stuff. Love the lyrics. Just all around, it's a good album. Definitely gonna keep listening to it, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air to the synthwave genre. So yeah, and also it reminds me a lot of okay, there's this album from 2015, a group called Nero. You might have heard of it. They're a dubstep EDM band. Who their first album was really dubsteppy a lot. There was like a couple of hints of 80s influence in there, especially a track called My Eyes. It's one of my favorite tracks of all time. Check that out if you haven't heard of it. It's nice dark synthwave mix, great stuff. But then in their second album is what this album reminds me of, Between Two Worlds. That album is in my top 5, maybe top 10 albums of all time. It's the same type of thing. It's a blending of different genres. There's trap, there's trance, there's dub, just a lot mixed in, but with 80s just all over the place. 80s all over it. But you know, Nero's more of a dance band at its core. So this album is different because it's 80s synthwave. You know, it's synthwave retrowave at its core. So it does it differently, but it does it very well. Midnight, if you're watching this, tour with Nero. I think you guys would complement each other's music styles awesomely, because while the albums are similar, it's still totally different ways of being put together, and love all of it. Love both of them. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming to this review. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this music. Please give me a like and subscribe if you like what you see. I put out content all the time. Like I said, I do 4 VHS reviews, and I also do metalcore, hardcore reviews and reactions, stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for coming around. Oldhead Mike signing off, reminding you, never too old for this.